Here we have a restaurant model. It has no fields, but let's go ahead and add a location field. We'll give it a name of location and keep the API ID as location. We'll not set on any of the field options, we'll not make it required or unique, and we won't set an initial value. Next, if we switch to editing some content and we create our first restaurant, if we switch to Google Maps and pick a location from Berlin, we'll just pick any random location here and we'll copy the address. We can then inside of Graph CMS search the map. And let's check to make sure that it's the right restaurant in the correct location. And if it's not, you can move the pin and drop it on the correct area or building. Once you're happy with the positioning of the pin, you can save and publish. And then now that is saved and published, you can continue to edit that like you would any other field by dragging the pin. We won't save that, but we'll next open the API Playground and we'll make a query to fetch all of our restaurants. If we have a look inside of the Documentation Explorer, we can see that we have the restaurant model with a new location field added. If we inspect to see the type of location, we can see the fields available are latitude, longitude, and distance. Distance takes an argument, which is of the type location input, and this returns a float in meters. So if we pick a random position in Berlin, we should be able to fetch our restaurants and get the distance from that location. So here I'm using Google and I'm just going to pick a random place on the map. And then I'm going to fetch the latitude and longitude of that location and add it to the arguments. Now if I run this query, you can see here we have the distance returned as a float, and this is in meters. If we now switch to using the mutation API, we can create a restaurant using the GraphQL mutation, create restaurant, and we can pass it the data for the restaurant. And what we'll do here is we will use the previous latitude and longitude values that we calculated for the distance for this new restaurant. And once that's saved, we can then go back and make a query. And what we should see now is we have our first restaurant with the distance, and then we have the second.